And a very warm welcome back to Taipei City, where we're holding the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, our last stop on our Season 9 tour as we head towards the World Championship in just 6 weeks' time. 2 spots up for grabs this weekend. We'll find out tomorrow who those 2 spots go to, as well as crowning our very last champion of the season. Our next matchup in the round of 8, though, is an absolute nail-biter. I can guarantee it's going to be an absolute cracker. I know Todd likes that one. So let's check in with the bracket and show you exactly how things have panned out so far today. We've done the top half, Parting winning 3-0 against Classic early on, and Life, predictably perhaps, winning 3-1 against Hyun to set up that clash of charisma in the semi-finals. Lower half of the bracket now, CJ enters herO, going up against Maru, and Solkey going up against Rain. It's herO versus Maru next, and back on the desk we have Susie, Kalaris and Todd joining me. This one
I'm not Todd.
No, I didn't think so.
Apollo. Did I say Todd?
You did.
Yeah, you did.
say Todd.
Did I? I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to insult you.
I don't know
like
if
that.
that's a compliment or not.
No, there's a specific
I
reason.
don't think it is.
Todd's like, what up, buddy?
Todd's like, yes, it is. And I'm like, well...
Don't think so, man.
It's because I'm so used to saying Todd after Kalaris. I think that's what it is.
Oh, maybe.
You're like an Archon almost.
Well, nah. I don't want to share a body
Todd's
with
saying,
that.
no. We'll stick to the ESL Archon, of course, which we have on the desk. Yeah, serious stuff now. Moving on. Maru versus herO. I'm personally, it's the most exciting game for me of the day, mainly because there's Terran involved, because we're the last one alive, but also because we haven't seen Maru at these events before. We've seen him play everywhere else, but not the Intel Extreme Masters. And herO, of course, I've done it today. I almost sound like a fanboy these days because we're always talking about how many titles he's won at Intel Extreme Masters because it's so unique.
Yeah.
But 4 finals, and he's 2 matches away from being in his 5th final of 6 Intel Extreme Masters.
In all of StarCraft, there just isn't and never has been that level of consistency from anybody. Sure, you had in Wings of Liberty, MVP's reign, but that was over years. This is over a specific tournament.
Yep.
And it's been almost back-to-back for the majority
Absolutely.
of it.
And the only one I can think of that's kind of close is Tasia at DreamHack.
Right.
A little bit. But even then, it was a number of years as well. So
it's unbelievable what herO's able to achieve at these tournaments.
It's far more as well because it's like for the majority of it, he's come through the Asian qualifiers.
Yes.
And those have been
Almost
absolutely
every time.
ridiculous every single time.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny you should bring that up because he actually has met Maru twice in previous ones. Actually, when he qualified for his very first one in Singapore and Sao Paulo, he had to beat Maru in the qualifiers both times in the round of 8 and did so. So that's the only time they've actually played in a best of 3. Everything else has always been Pro League. So they've always played, it's been 1-0 to Maru sometimes to herO. So they're fairly even when it comes to team leagues. But when it comes to best of 3, Maru's not beaten him.
No, and I don't think he will again today either, to be honest.
Yeah.
These 2 players are... when these match up, in Pro League, when you see, it's herO versus Maru, you go crazy about it. And you do just get teased by a single game, a single map. But now it's a best of 5.
I know.
And it's going to take so much more to win because usually in Pro League, if they meet up regularly, it's just going to be, okay, I'm going to practice to beat him. This is the one map I'm going to play on. It's going to be very easy. It's my strategy, so I'm going to do it. But now there's going to be adaptation. It's a different skill set, which Maru, of course, has done and showed before. But against herO, we haven't, and that's the exciting aspect of it for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've just got to add to that. In best of 5 situations, herO hasn't lost against a Terran since 2013.
Okay, well, all right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of insight of what the boys were thinking. Maru, as we know, is not the most chattiest of players. I asked him a bunch of questions this morning, and every answer was basically, I think I have a 50% chance. I have a 50% chance for everything. How do you feel against playing as herO? I have a 50% chance. You know, like, who do you want to win? I don't know. I don't care. And at the end, I said, why are you giving me these answers? And he goes, because Terran is weak. And that was it.
Right.
And I just sat there and I went, okay. So going into this, I mean, I really can't read him.
Yeah.
I really do believe. But yesterday's interview...
Let me just check a Ligulac here. Oh, look, 50% in form, 50% opposing race, 50% in TVZ, 50% in TvP. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
No, but
it's weird, isn't it?
It is really weird.
I mean, why is he like that, do you think?
Well, and I did point that out. I said, hey, if you win, I would really like for you to speak more during your interview. And he went...
Did you ask or did you tell him?
I told him.
You told him.
I did.
I know.
To which he said...
Mama Susie's doing a job.
Yeah.
He goes, I would like to too, I just can't. And I went, why? You know, talking, he goes, with experience, maybe I will. You know, he's
And then
young.
you grabbed his
He doesn't.
cheek.
The weird thing is, Susie, you actually bring up a really valid point. I think sometimes we get kind of lost with the fact that this kid's been around for a long time. You know, he's playing TV matches at the age of 14, which was
13,
nearly,
I think, even.
Yeah, even like 4 or 5
13.
years ago. He's still not even 18. I think we sometimes get lost in the fact that he's still a young guy.
So he is learning. He understands that his interview skills are not quite up to par with his other, players here. But he did say yesterday in his interview, though, that he does like the whole adaptation aspect of the games. He doesn't like preparing for an opponent. And so this might be his turn to shine. herO, on the other hand, already just went ahead and said, no, I'm probably going to beat herO. I'm going to beat herO. I just don't want to meet Rain. That's what he said.
Yeah, that might actually have to happen, though, unfortunately for him. That might happen.
He understands
but the last game of the day is still a coin flip. I think we'll find that out a bit later on, obviously. Let's talk a little bit about herO. We've talked about the 3 titles at Intel Extreme Masters. The one that he didn't get was obviously the one that he really wanted, which was winner takes all at World Championship, which he lost to SOS. It's the only time he's been beaten in a final, having made 4. But he's also lost a couple along the way, one of which was to Polt, as Claris has already pointed out. But the keenest 2 are the ones that he lost to Snoop, twice, actually. So, but he's shown vulnerabilities. He's shown them against Zergs, but not necessarily against Terrans, as we do see CJ herO coming out onto the stage.
Not as smiley as usual.
No, I was going to say.
This is a big game. This
is important.
A little bit. Oh, there it is. There's a smile.
Yeah.
What a cutie pie.
That's the smile before he stabs you 3-0.
And there's herO, or the Terran player is not even 18 yet.
I really want to. I think we should talk about is herO versus Passing. 2-0 instant win. He approached that herO, that is, with a bad mindset. Didn't think he could beat him. Was like, he was partying.
Tried to play him the first game, and then decided to choose second game.
It almost felt like he just gave up.
Yeah.
And he can't do that here.
No, absolutely. I mean, best of 5 actually offers him a slightly better opportunity, perhaps, over the long game. But if he loses first match, we've said this about the first 2 matches, and it's kind of played out that way. If he loses the first map, he's more likely to do what Parting did and go kind of proxy something the second game. And then if he loses that, somehow he's already on the back foot.
I mean, even approaching a best of 5, I imagine herO would almost always mix in something like a proxy. Yeah. Every time you watch herO play, he loves aggression.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he is a little bit on tilt and giving up in that situation, I still think he would mix it in regardless.
Okay, we've got a man who's won 3 Premier titles, all of them Intel Extreme Masters. We've done that one to death. I want to talk about herO and titles. It's been a while, Sean. I mean, 2013, it was the OSL, not the GSL back then, but it was WCS Korea.
Yep.
Season 2. He had a terrific run that season. I remember it very vividly. Yep. Fantastic play all the way through. We haven't really seen much after that.
I would say that he didn't struggle in 2014. His race struggled in 2014. Okay. Terran had a very difficult time, especially around the rain that herO shot up to the top. It was kind of the similar times. herO shot up to the top because Protoss at that time was strong. Yep. But credit to herO, he stayed on the top, even though Protoss came back down again. But herO at the same time struggled against Protoss after Protoss after Protoss. He didn't know how to approach the matchup. He's got a very unique style to play in the matchup. And that's the reason for not winning a tournament in 2014. His results, though, on the other hand, were still very consistent.
Yeah, is he still a world-class player?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and as Sean was saying, during that period where, yes, his race was struggling, he was one of the only Terrans to stay really relevant during that period.
I think it was 1 or maybe 2 seasons he was the last remaining Terran in GSL.
Definitely, absolutely. They were a dying breed in GSL as well at the time that he was making it through. This man on your screen, however, what is it with the Intel Extreme Masters and this man? Well, why is he so... I mean, he has made other finals. We saw him do that last year, and he's been fantastic in Pro League for his team. I think he's probably their killer player right now for CJ Enters. But what is it about Intel Extreme Masters that it just seems to work for him?
You know what's really cute? He had said, when he comes to an IEM and he sees Carmack, he goes, the moment I see Carmack, he goes, I think... I'm home. Like,
wow, that's not the reaction I have when I see Carmack.
He goes, I feel relaxed. I see Carmack, and I'm like, this is an IEM. Like, I'm comfortable here, you know, and that kind of mindset might be something that kind of helps him out.
Yeah, he definitely seems more comfortable, doesn't he, when he's here? He seems relaxed. He's always chilling. We nicknamed him the Smiling Assassin for that very reason. He's literally always smiling, no matter what he's doing.
To be honest, I mean, completely honest with you, he doesn't really travel to many other tournaments as well. I think he's attended one DreamHack, and that's about the other of his tournaments. So this is his only tournament that he goes to, which is why he's so successful here. And then you compare the only tournament he goes to, the Intel Extreme Masters, to the tournaments he plays in Korea. The skill, there is a major difference between playing in Intel Extreme Masters and playing in a Star League or GSL. It is softer here.
Although arguably not this weekend.
Honestly, not this weekend. So if he wins this one, booyah!
Legit.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that his other wins aren't legit at all, but
They were pretty good too.
Yeah, well, I don't know, I'm not demeaning Intel Extreme Masters in any way, but if he wins this one, it's almost like he's won a fake GSL.
I mean, you're saying far from it.
It's a fake BlizzCon.
Oh, yeah.
Fake World
This is
Championship.
completely legit.
We're so lucky at Intel Extreme Masters to have so many Kesper players playing in the qualifiers and then making it here and then coming through invites as well, that we get this fantastic lineup. It's so good.
Okay, prediction time, Susie.
I'm going to go with herO.
Okay.
I'm going to go with herO.
All right, James.
Yeah, herO 3-1 I'll go with, actually.
Okay.
Absolutely herO.
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely partying in the previous one. Absolutely herO.
live. Okay, good stuff. Very, very thorough from our experts on the analysis desk right now. Let's find out what our commentators think and whether they go for herO en masse as well. He is the favourite, he's the reigning champion, but he isn't quite the world champion just yet, and he now goes head-to-head with the youngest player left in the tournament. It's herO versus marO.
Welcome back, StarCraft fans. Maynard and Todd here to bring for you pretty much my most anticipated series for the day, but I have to say that I'm pretty much following herO as well. I think that herO is going to look pretty good here in the series coming on the back of it.
Don't hide your bias. Everybody knows you're Terran.
Everyone should know that I'm Terran. I wear that on my sleeve very proudly. This is the last Terran in the entire tournament right here. Of course, I want to see him in the round of 4. I want a marO live final. I think a CJ herO live final is going to happen here, but I want that TVZ, man. I love TVZ. I was talking about it yesterday. And, I mean, this guy on screen right now, he's the Smiling Assassin. And right now, this is Assassin mode. This is the other half of his nickname. He's ready to murder a nerd.
There's no smiling usually during the game.
No.
Maybe before the GG.
Oh, man. So both these players have interesting styles even at the TvP. herO, of course, with a much better record against Terran lately than marO's had versus Protoss. Both players, Pro League players, the best for their team. And on the top right here, from Jania Green Wings, this is marO. And in the bottom left, from CJ Entis, the Smiling Assassin himself, this is herO.
I think Apollo mentioned it very nicely. If you think about it, if you think about the way Parting versus marO went, not just in GSL, but in this very tournament, it was very one-sided, and marO struggled. He knew that he was going to have a very hard time. He cheesed because of that. And look at this. He thinks the same about herO here. He knows that in a longer game, it's going to be so difficult for him to beat somebody like herO. So he says, you know what? I'm just going to double racks on 11 across the map. Hope that maybe you do something really. Hope that maybe you don't scout like in the past, like you did so many times in the finals of Katowice. And maybe somehow he can get a win out of this if he gets fortunate.
I mean, Proxy 1111 has worked. TvP has worked for marO in the past. Will it happen again is the big question as he drops down that second barracks at the front of the natural ramp of herO.
One of the things about herO is that even though he's so good and he's really good at finding out what he's up against, I feel like he doesn't apply nearly as much in the very early game. He's been very reluctant to scout, no matter what the matchup. Very early on, right after his gateway, or just early on in general, in the first 2 minutes, he almost doesn't send a probe too often these days, at least.
You thought that from IEM Katowice that he might have learned a thing or two about scouting, but that's
in
okay.
PvP, I'm pretty sure he's gotten more careful, but yeah, PvT here. Against somebody like marO who likes to proxy, who's shown his desperation earlier against Spartan, it would definitely have been a good idea to go for a scout.
This does look like desperation. In fact, this map in particular was the one where marO was trying to go for that style that he did against Parting in the GSL, where he went for that Hellion drop sort of medevac play, and this time he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to try my early game. I'm going to try to use my micro. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to send a bunch of units in there and control it to the best I can.
If this was a best of 3, I don't think I would like the decision to proxy here. But here, I think even if he loses, you know, it's not the end of the world. So I think it's okay to try and proxy, and I mean, by the look of things, this is going to be spotted so late. The Zealot was just cancelled, of course. You will always cancel that to get the Nexus earlier, and right now...
He's pulling a lot of SCVs as well. You know, not a lot of SCVs, but relative to this time of the game, it's definitely an early... And he's dropping a Nexus here. He didn't even see the Marines go off the ramp. Oh, no.
He still started the Stalker and Mothership Core before he made the Nexus somehow. So there's going to be a few units, I guess those 2 units, plus the probes to help him defend here for herO, but he's in so much trouble, those bunkers. I really don't think he can stop them from completing here.
Oh, not really, just with the 1 Stalker, and the Mothership Core doesn't do much damage, but it's wants those Marines, but the Marines have started stepping. They nearly get the Mothership Core, but not quite. They get into the bunker there. It's very low SCV count, so if herO holds here, he's pretty much won the game. He's got 7 Marines versus the 13 SCVs, sorry, the 13 probes here of herO, and herO is dancing back and forth with the Stalker. Second Stalker out now. The bunker just about to finish, and he has enough to fill it up, and the leftovers as well. And herO's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the fact that this bunker is in range for killing the barracks or even unpowering it is such a big deal. That means there is not going to be a 3rd Stalker, in which case, here, all herO has to do...
that's devastating for herO, and herO he's in such a rough spot now. No Stalker.
He's going to have the Photon Overcharge, but I mean... Can he get enough Stalker out for after the Photon Overcharge when a lot of Marines and possibly SCVs are going to attack him?
Possibly not. Photon Overcharge does get dropped then. The 2 Stalkers in the back doing as much damage as he can. The probe's being pulled, but he loses a couple probes there. Denies some mining time, and he pulls back to that 2nd bunker. And Maru could make another bunker here and continue to push.
Yeah. I guess this is not so bad for herO. Look, he has a 3rd Stalker about to come out. With 3 Stalkers, you can catch endless amount of Marines. And Maru, he doesn't feel like he wants to commit anymore to this. He starts the command center, he's going to fly back his barracks home. The thing is, the moment he leaves that position with the bunker, he's going to get chased back. So he's going to leave first with 3 of the Marines.
It looked like herO wanted to go. I was about to commend him on his choice to go for Stargate there, but Twilight Council also a great idea. If he follows this up with Blink, there's not going to be enough units at home for morrow to try and deal with that. He's not going to have any static defense back at home. And even if he went for Oracles, I mean, the decision to change up there, he could have Marines in position, but Blink is so much harder to hold than an Oracle attack.
He knows that Maru, much like yesterday versus Sparting, behind his cheese, he always wants to go for command center, for, you know, more economy, more Marines, and he neglects the tech instead of staying on a, you know, a low income or just one base. So going for the Blink here will make a lot of sense. He could even go up to 4 gates if he wants to. So far, he's just added a 3rd one, but that attack against steamless Marines and possibly, you know, no factory units, no medivacs, he's going to be so strong. Whether he chooses to commit to it, it's going to be great to have Blink Stalkers.
Maru is making a bunker back at home. He knows that with his Stalker count that this is very much a possibility here. He doesn't know about the 5th one, but the 4th one he obviously does know about, and then he is out of vision of that Twilight Council. Moving the Mothership Core across. This is a great idea as well. Not many Marines at home just yet. He's trying to get that 2nd CC up. The second and the 3rd barracks, well, I guess his 1st and 2nd barracks are floating back now, and they will get back into the main along with the 3rd that he made behind that attack and the natural. And Mothership Core here is just looking for any kind of damage he can get.
I like that he sends back just 1 single Marine. It's like, you leave us behind, it's too late for us.
Well, he's going to need every unit he can get with a follow-up attack here of herO. He's on 3 gates with Blink about to finish here.
You know, Maru, having spotted the Twilight here is such a big deal. Like, he knows that this is going to be Blink almost every single time. He doesn't even consider it could be DTs. Look, he's spamming mules. He's not saving any energy. He's getting an additional bunker, and he's done something really smart about this. He stayed in the main with his 2nd orbital command. He doesn't try to expand on his natural too early, which means he's going to be safe on one base up until he reaches medivacs, and then he's going to have so much fighting capability with a few Marauders, lots of Marines, and Stim Pack.
He's all about making the Marauders and the Marines right now. Stim is going to be quite a while. It might not be in the beginning of this attack, so he's got to have to hold on till Stim and when medivacs come out. He's got a starport on the way. herO is actually going to expand behind this Blink attack, and that means that herO has a follow-up response in case this attack doesn't work.
Yeah, Maru is doing something very nice as well. He's sending an SCV across the map just all the way around to make sure he knows exactly when herO expands and how fast, and if there is any kind of transition. Might go into the main to see if there is a Dark Shrine as well. He needs every bit of information that he can get right now.
That's right, 2nd Nexus going down. The Stalkers are pushing up here. Nice Blink Micro from herO so far. Doing a bit of damage here. Target firing the Marauder. Doesn't quite get it. The Marauder living. That's very nice for Maru.
Even getting a siege tank here, Maru. So he knows that if he can get 2 or 3 of those and set up, you know, in a defensive posture against
right next to that starport would be very nice spot for that siege tank.
And I mean, even after that, when he has his expansion up, if he chooses to attack on this map, you can go around the 3rd base and siege that from afar and snipe, you know, the assimilator, the probes mining on some of the mineral patches. So it's going to be one of the nice things that he's going to have going for him going to this game further.
Murray feels like he has enough unit production here to be able to hold the blink. He's dropping the reactors on both of his barracks here to try and get that production later on in a few minutes when it is finished. He's loaded up a medevac here. Looks like he wants to go for a stim in with this siege tank as well. Stim not quite done yet. He wants this natural. Stalker's still denying it for now.
The SCV across the map has spotted the Robo-Bay here.
The observer, very nice. He's going to feel very, very secure after getting that observer here. No high ground vision from herO at all.
Yeah, having spotted the Robo-Bay this early here for herO is going to be great, because that means he's going to be able to start Viking production very quickly, and if he wants, he can already add a second starport. Yeah,
good scare from herO. Doesn't know what's going on in herO Town, as the robotics bay is finishing with +1 on the way. So herO getting that forge and robotics bay, looking to follow things up, getting that anti-bio splash damage going on. Murray getting his upgrades as well. And herO going to go for a pretty quick third by the looks of things, Todd.
Yeah, this is already having a Forge and Twilight and Blink. All he has to do is get enough Colossus to make sure he doesn't lose to a critical mass, you know, of bio on the ground.
Yeah.
And he can already start a third Nexus if he wants to, and he's going to be pretty safe, I think, as long as he sees where the units of herO are headed across the map. You know, having warp gates can be such a nice help in defending any kind of upcoming attack in this kind of game where you think you're just a little bit ahead. And in this case, I mean, it's only 8 Stalkers plus 2 Sentries right now against 15 Marines and 6 Marauders, so it looks pretty scary for herO. But as the first Colossus comes out, he's going to have so much fighting capability.
And herO actually opted not to take that third after all, saw the bio with Stim moving across the map with the medevac, and he's being careful here. He knows that third Nexus would be in a very big spot of bother against this bio moving across the map. He's dropping a pylon to the far right here. Does he want to try and hide some tech?
I actually think that there's so few Protosses who wouldn't have gone for the third here, or like when he was already thinking about it.
Yeah.
Get rich or die trying, man. This is the way.
It's a thug life.
He's moving out actually right now.
Oh, they'll love this spot. The siege tank's going to find that nice spot where they are in range of the drone line, or the probe line here in this case. And it looks like herO has to leave that up for now. And
he might, I think, waiting a little bit here until Thermal Lance and a second Colossus will be right, but that means he's going to lose a lot of mining time. And actually, this probes.
This one Marine sees the positioning of herO here. Does Murray want to let up and move out?
Oh, that's so smart.
Oh, he's hallucinated an orbital here, and target fires it. The Stalker's blinking on top of the Marine on the tanks, and they do get it. But there's a lot of bio left over here from Maru, and herO's in a bit of trouble.
It was too early of an engagement here by herO. Even though he got the tanks, he lost a lot of forces. If he had just waited for that second Colossus and Thermal Lance, he would have done so much better. Maybe kill out of this bio, and then if you hold comfortably, you can go for a third base directly and be in a great position in the game. So Maru definitely traded well here, and that's going to translate into a nice supply lead.
He's looking really good right now. His army supply is well ahead of herO's. Every supply is looking great right now. He doesn't have a third CC, but he has so much army. herO moving across the map, going past. Maru's attacking here. He's attacking force. You mentioned that Maru needs to play the series of his life to be able to beat herO right now, and he's already looking so much more solid against herO than he did versus Parting.
Yes, definitely. I'm not sure if I like the choice of not going for a second starport, but he did go for a 4th and 5th barracks before going for a 3rd CC, and he wants to get in there.
And he's getting in here all over the Stalkers. That's not going to help him out against the Marauders, but the force fields are nice, funneling away a few units here. Does he have enough? Charge isn't done. He's only got 5 seconds to go.
But there's only 2 zealots anyway.
There's no zealots anyway for the charge, and Maru pulls away. But this is a style that Maru does. Maru can go Vikingless in TvP. He's a one of the very few Terrans who has been doing it recently.
Yeah.
And just favors getting more supply on the ground instead of in the air.
Just pure bio against this many Colossi, man. It just doesn't work. Happy tried it against Naniwa in the qualifiers for the OCS, and he paid the high price for it. But somehow, Maru just has so much that he might be able to break this defense of herO with a nice round, which he's looking for. Oh, he's going to go for the drop.
This is beautiful.
herO has no vision at all, by the way. This is going to go bad for herO. With his unit positioning, Maru is doing this so well right now.
Pushes the army, going towards a third, and meanwhile he is dropping in a big juicy main here. 2 medevacs with Marines and Marauders getting down there. Stim in for the win, seeing how much damage he can get done. herO still all the way at the third. He can't, if the mothership cores it, then naturally can't recall into the main. And the robotics facility is going down, sniping that, cutting into the Colossus production, and this Colossus is going to go down as well, and he can pick up and leave.
I don't even think he can get the medevacs.
No, he can't.
Maybe one? No, not even with the boost. That was empty anyway.
And he can get a cancel on a third as well again.
Yeah. This is, I mean, herO, knowing that he's going to move back to the third base, but that means he's not leaving anything in the main. There's still the Photon Overcharge active, but if Maru raids and drops again. Actually, that Observer just spotted the Medivacs moving out, but I mean, with that supply difference, if you attack in many places, or even in just one place at this point, it's 95 army supply to 49. How is herO going to hold?
He's being pulled apart here, and this is what with the Vikingless play, you have so much more bio. You get the power on this force, and you get to manage to be able to do things like this. Maru is the king of multitask. He will attack one place while hitting him in another. There's too much here for the Stalkers. Dropping those Widow Mines is going to help out a lot as well. They're nicely spread here. He's going to get, oh, nearly got that one on the outside. Got the Twilight Council. And he's going to get another cancel on this third Nexus. herO is being pulled thin here by these drops.
Oh, he always has Blink on cooldown when Maru escapes, so...
It's because he's an offensive blinker, mate.
Yeah, he blinks too early. He's an early blink kind of guy.
Oh, this Nexus. herO might actually be okay with the Colossus coming down from the main.
Maru's dropping back in the main, and there's 2 Widow Mines there even.
Yeah, and they're going to be on recharge by the time herO comes back in and helping the bio as well. This is devastating for herO. He's actually not taking too much damage from this drop, at least.
Oh god, the Widow Mines. The Widow Mines are about to blow up what's left of this army.
And the Colossus is dead again. Another dead Colossus. It's devastating for herO. He's taking a lot of damage here. Maru's just going up and up in supply, and he's pushing across the map.
He was trying to chase what's left of this army, but GG.
Wow, Maru. Death by 1,000 cuts, TvP there. Cut, and it's just going one place to another. That kind of looks like how Maru played TvZ.
Not by 1,000 cuts, by 1,000 drops, Maynard.
Small but important detail, I suppose. But that's how Maru played TvZ against True on Deadwing. He would just keep dropping and dropping and dropping and never stop. He knows that when the player is immobile, he knows that Colossus aren't fast. The only way for them to move quickly is to recall. The Mothership Core and the natural, unfortunate for herO, that he can't just move the Stalkers in there without the Colossus because he has too many Marauders, he has Stim, and going Vikingless allowed him to do that. He had that extra resources, he had Medivacs, and yeah.
What's going on with all the proxies, man, today?
Well, you know, I guess a few people are scared of each other here, and they want to... I mean, it is a best of 5, and it's a nice feeling, that safety net, to be one game up as you're heading into game number 2, but we're just going to take a short break here before we get into game number 2 between Maru and herO, and boy, is it heating up. We'll see you soon. G'day guys, welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters in Taipei. And we certainly had a pretty intense game number 1 there. Proxy followed by some Blink Stalker aggression into a Maru TvP, I guess.
How much money is herO going to lose dying to proxies? Artosis once upon a time asked me this. This is getting ridiculous. This guy just doesn't want to scout early on. He's so good at StarCraft. He barely ever loses in mid to late game. The only moment he really seems to have trouble with in the early game when he gets cheesed by proxies. And against somebody, like, it's not even like he's playing a Terran that doesn't ever proxy. I mean, Maru is known to do this. Yeah. Yet somehow herO didn't look for it and paid the high price. I mean, this proxy propelled Maru into this game very nicely with a nice lead.
Did indeed. And herO's going to need to focus here and play a little bit safer if he wants to tie the series here against Maru. This is a very, very aggressive Terran. And going Going to switch into the game. We're going to be on one of the new maps today. Of course, the last time we saw this map, there were proxies. We'll see if it happens again. In the northernmost position from Jin Air Green Wings, this is herO. It's got a few fans out there in the crowd at Taipei today. A full crowd out there showing a little love for StarCraft. And in the bottom left here from CJ Entus, this is herO. The heavily favored player in this matchup.
Oh, so we thought.
So we thought.
herO, I don't think he's going to proxy again here. And last time I said there was not going to be a proxy on this map, there was actually a double proxy. So technically I was right.
I think you're right, because with the positioning of this supply depot, it looks like he wants to wall in, so that barracks is going to go home.
Yes, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah.
Maybe CC first. You have a very easy to take, you know, natural base. Oh no, he's going to throw on the barracks. I really thought this would be a good map to go for CC first, but for now it's just going to be a barracks on 12. Let's see if he goes for a gas. Yes, he's going to go for a gas. So a Reaper expand here, most likely, against a Gateway Standard 13. No scout after. Oh man, herO and those mind games. herO should have proxied. Punish him until he learns, okay?
Oh, everyone out there that's watching today, if you get to play CJ herO at some point, please keep proxying this guy. He needs practice. Oh, double gas.
Yeah, double gas. This could be the old school herO build that he used a lot very effectively back when he was saturating with very little numbers, those double gases, still starting with a quick first Nexus and then scouting after. This was used a lot back when Reaper Expand was the only thing Terrans were doing when that was the meta. And look, he's gonna do that. 16 mineral probes. He's gonna rally every single new probe to the gas. And usually you throw down the Nexus and then you try to dodge that Reaper and you go for a scout. But on this map, the Nexus being on the other side, basically in a dead ends, he might have to send out the probe before. Because right now there is an SCV headed for his base, and if herO leaves his base with the probe, it's going to be spotted, and then the Reaper is going to look for it. Then again, you can play hide and seek and somehow maybe sneak across the map, but it would be a little bit random.
So here's, herO, on stream here is just leaving 2 in gas, taking 1 out very deliberately to go for a quick expand, and being able to tech up from this as well. Be able to drop that factory reasonably shortly. Reactor going down there.
No, actually, when herO did that a lot, it was just not the Reaper only opener metagame. It was also for Protoss the metagame where, or not even metagame, I guess you can say the abuse, where we will only go for Blink and 7 gates and a lot of all-ins, which on this map I really don't think will be that bad with all of those massive edges around the bases. Maybe bring back the old school, you know, 7 gates Blink or 6 gates Blink, and punish herO here.
herO going for the style that he's tried against Parting and didn't work out for 3 games in a row. Going for the quick factory with the reactor on there as well. You get some Marines out, get some Hellions out, and try and multitask your opponent. But herO here, he's a very, very solid Protoss.
Yeah.
There's this Reaper smartly on the way to herO. He took his time because the number one thing he was looking for there was proxies. He didn't want to have to deal with a proxy Stargate. There is still a Stargate to worry about. I mean, Stargate's always scary. But at least it wasn't proxied anywhere near his main, so he doesn't have to prioritize defense.
What's so cool about herO's play here is that he opened with a Reaper, and he's going to have some scouting capability, but behind this, he went for a factory. That means that if you're herO here, you're going to see a Reaper, and you're going to be like, oh, well, he opened Reaper. There is no way he's going for factory and stop all behind. Except wrong. There is going to be both of those, and Widow Mines being dropped, most likely in the middle lines of herO here, who's going to open most likely with an Oracle into, I think, a Colossus transition with a Robo that's following up here.
And he didn't see that Stargate with a scouting Reaper. The Reaper, doesn't live. Takes out the Reaper.
This is going to mislead him massively, because only having spotted the Robo here, he's going to think this is a standard play, you know, where you take the Colossus and all that. He's not going to be careful against any kind of Oracle play. And if that bad boy flies into a middle line that's unprotected, man, we've all seen the butchery happen in the past. But somehow...
Oh my god, how does he know?
Yeah, I guess he saw that the Robo was pretty late. Usually you will get a Robo much earlier, and that's because herO had already started a Stargate, which cost a lot of gas in particular, so kind of gets a whiff.
So sick.
This might be happening, but big supply block here for herO, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit uncharacteristic of herO there, but he just wanted to muster up his defense. Probably wasn't thinking about that for a few seconds, and that's all that matters. A player like herO is always going to capitalize on that edge there. Dropping an extra couple barracks to go in with what he's already got. He's got Widow Mines in nice positions here, and enough Marines to deal with a Oracle in the natural.
Yeah. He just picked up the double Widow Mines that he has, Maru, and he's going to head across the map.
Okay, so that's less Oracle defense in the main, but he's going to try and get some econ damage done here. The Oracle's kind of just...
It's so crazy that without the scouts, both of these players know what they're up against, like literally. Like Maru knew it was target without seeing it. herO didn't see a factory or anything. And he knows that there's going to be Widow Mines, no matter what. So he's going to wait for Phoenixes to rejoin his Oracle. Well, first he's keeping them at home for defense, but later on he's going to rejoin his Oracle. He's probably going to use the detection and try and pick up those mines, pick up some units here and there, and get a few kills.
I haven't seen herO do a Phoenix Colossus for quite a while. This is definitely in trend in China for a while in PVT. Boosts into the main here, looking to get some mine drops. The Phoenix is here. That's the first time Maru's seen them, and he picks them up. And the mines are denied. And down they go. Nice defense from herO, taking 0 damage from Maru. And Maru's got to leave, and he's going to take it. He's going to lose the medevac as well.
Beautiful execution, and I really don't think that this is going to be Phoenix Colossus. I thought so at first as well, because he's already on his target and he's got a few Phoenixes. And I guess technically it kind of counts because he got a few, but we're seeing the Double Forge and the Twilight Council. I think he's just going to want to play Colossus plus Blink and Double Forge, and, you know, take a third base, the one that's right outside of the ramp of his main, and go into a longer game here, herO.
So Phoenix is heading into the main here. The Oracle looking out for Widow Mines as well. He's going to try and pick up SCVs, delaying that engineering bay. Slower upgrades tomorrow.
The Lantern Oracle. It looks like a lantern.
It does. Green Lantern. Shout out to Marvel.
First 2 medivacs being on the way here and finishing soon is going to give some capability for Maru to try and apply some pressure, especially when he reaches 4 medivacs here. The thing is, in this game, it could get shut down by the amount of Phoenixes, which is not that high, but really is going to help against any kind of potential drop that we could be having. Even though the Blink is pretty late, having those Phoenixes is definitely going to help.
Yeah, helping out a lot. Ooh, catches
them.
one there. Yeah, been very careful. That's a lot of Marines. Drops an Envision on the army there.
herO really likes observers, by the way. Like, ideally, when you go for this, you know, Colossus, Blink, and Double Force, you want to have like 3, 4, if you pick maybe even 7 observers, but he has a single one. And since he wants to keep on making Colossi continuously, he's not going to be able to make any more. So he's going to have to make most of that one observer, maybe do a few pylons here and there to get some vision as well. And herO's going to have to be very careful, because if he doesn't see a massive Doom drop headed for his 3rd, for example, he could lose that very quickly.
Well, luckily for herO, all the medevacs that Maru's made so far are with that army that he's already got the spell on.
Yeah.
So
that's really a nice way to scan. And look, already some pylons going down on the left-hand side as well. herO is getting some, not only getting some extra vision, but he's getting some counter-harassing capability here with this. And, well, the upgrades lining up very well for both players here with the Steam Pack, Blink, and 1-1 finishing.
Revelation once more from herO, and he got actually a lot of Phoenixes there with the Widow Mines. Nice pickup from Maru, pretty lucky there.
That wasn't luck. He makes his own luck.
Yeah,
with a beautiful placement. It's herO that was lucky, actually. It could have been a lot worse for him at the end.
Yeah, 2 Widow Mines could have taken out all of it if it was bunched up very, very tightly.
Losing the Oracle would have been much worse than losing the Phoenixes, because the Oracle, you know, is, when he uses Revelation, he gets so much info for a very long time. So 2-2 is going to start here for herO, who's still chrono-boosting out Colossi continuously. He's on 2 right now. The 3rd one's about to come out. Against that, how many Vikings? 0 right now. So if he fights in a straight-up fight, he's going to do okay, even though he has a supply deficit, but it's really against drops that he's going to struggle a lot more. Or, well, supposedly.
Yeah. So herO's getting 1-1, 1-1, just finishing for him now. And he has Stim, obviously. 2-2 on the way for herO, so quite a bit up in upgrades, as you would imagine, getting that Double Forge and going for charge on Twilight Council. He's getting a nice, very, very anti-bio army going up here for CJ's herO. He's going to have plenty of Zealots coming into the fray pretty shortly with those Colossus as well, still being produced.
3rd base going to get scanned here, and this is a massive tale that Terran wants to be on the offensive. The Oracle almost has enough energy here for Revelation. Need to keep that alive. He needs the information right now. The longer herO can wait without taking any damage, the better it's going to be for him. Look at the amount of gateways he's dropped down. I'm starting to think that he might want to do a 2-2 timing here, maybe. Actually, I remember a game between those 2 guys. I think it was in Pro League, where herO played a similar style to this. He made Colossus, he made a lot of Blink Stalkers, he defended, and then he went for the counter-attack after Maru had attacked and lost a lot. Because Maru will always attack. So if you defend nicely against him, you can always go for a counter-attack, having saved your Colossi count. And look, he's actually going to a very high amount of Stalkers. 14 already. Usually you stop at 10, 11, 12, but 14. So I really think that this is what is going to happen. Already having the pylon on the left-hand side of the map as well.
Yeah, he's all set for a big attack on the third to reinforce it very, very easily.
You know what he's doing? He's trying to bait a drop in the natural. He's moving out with the Colossus and Blinkstalkers, and he's saying, well, I have a lot here. You should Doom drop me because I have everything out on the map. But no, herO has a lot of Blinkstalkers and one Colossus waiting in the natural right now, waiting for that drop to come. But Maru's not falling for it. Maru's expecting that.
He is, and he's forced to make Vikings at this point. He's getting +1 attack for the Vikings, and they're being made 4 at a time from 2 starports here. +3 on the way, or 3-3 on the way for herO. His upgrades are looking really scary against Maru, he's only got 2-1.
Yeah, I think that ideally here, herO would have liked Maru to attack into him. Okay, where are you going with the mice? herO would have liked Maru to attack into him, defend it, and then counter-attack, but then he saw that it wasn't happening, so he's like, okay, you want to play a longer game? That's fine. He starts 3-3, he's going to Chrome Boost that, he's getting a Warp Prism, and all he really needs to do is, you know, max out, get the army composition he wants to get, and take a good fight in the middle of the map. But Maru, okay, this is not the Maru that I know here. He's getting Ghost and he's not being aggressive.
Yeah, he's going for the super late game TvP. Maybe he feels like he can pull this off against herO here, and I feel like this is herO's advantage. He wants to play this kind of game.
What's happened to Maru? It's like he's a new man playing. Well, actually, he's not a man. He's a boy. He's a new boy.
He's a boy. He's a robot. He's a monster.
He's a new boy. herO moving out here. He needs to be careful. He's not maxed out yet against a Maru this is a very strong timing to fight here for Maru because 3-3 didn't finish, and by that I mean herO still couldn't win that engagement, but he needs to take it back at home a lot better with Photon Overcharge and support.
There's no storms either. This floating structure on the right here, the factory sees the Warp Prism on the right. Hopefully Mario was looking at that. Oh my god, this turret sensor net, that Warp Prism needs to be careful. He does see that and holds his horses.
You shall not pass. The Vikings now headed back. Maru's just going to pull back for now. There's a lot of pylons on the left-hand side. I really think that herO with that 3-3 timing here, he's going to want to look to end the game. He has so many High Templars, actually. It's going to be so hard for Maru to EMP those, but herO's not maxed out still just yet.
Yeah.
But his army still looks so scary.
Oh, so nice for herO getting a couple medevacs there. It's going to make the biosite that much less scary. +3 is about to be done. 3-3 about to be done for herO. His army supply is down from Maru's. He's 120 versus the 130. And here we go. The engagement happening. The Vikings on the right doing a lot of damage to the Colossus here. Lots of storms going down from all his Templar. Maru stimming in and keeping his concave. Does he have enough to seal the deal? The splash damage from herO is insane with the Colossus and the Templar going down. And it looks like he's going to clean it up. The Archons are being made here, and Maru has enough, especially with the Ghosts here, to be able to EMP and pull it back a little bit with the landed Vikings, just adding that extra little bit of DPS, and the Archons disappearing as well. A big war pin of Zealots on the left. The Planetary will help out a lot with that, but I think once the barracks reinforce here, Maru should be able to stabilize. Well, actually, that's a lot of charge lots.
And we have a Dark Shrine actually about to finish. That could really help in weakening even more the economy of Maru here. herO, if he overcommits to this, he's going to lose a lot and not really achieve that much here.
Yeah, he's definitely overextending at this point.
He wanted to use his 3-3 advantage too badly here against a Maru who's only 2-2 but about to complete 3-3 himself. Second Robo now underway for Maru, who's already, for herO, sorry, who's already thinking that he needs to basically remake his entire Colossi counts and try to stay ahead of the Viking counts.
I love this Planetary. It's like, yeah, you warp in there, I dare you. Is the Planetary is right in range of anything that gets warped into that pylon.
That's a sad warp-in.
Yeah, it is. Down it goes.
If those Zealots could say no to this warp-in, they would, I think. But sadly, they can't.
Dark Templar have taken the field here. There's no detection at that Planetary just yet. So we'll be able to start wailing on it, and he does indeed. Zealots coming in here and attacking this army of Maru. Nice storm on the outside there. Maru just getting out of range of it, taking a little bit of splash damage though. The Ghosts just not quite enough for an EMP. They're looking to get some, feedback there on the Ghost, but a sniper, one High Templar.
herO is only getting one Colossus at a time, even though he has double Robo. Definitely needs to fix that. He needs to stay ahead on the Colossus count as much as possible. But right now, he wants to attack again. He wants to do even more damage. The army supply, 103 for Maru, 76 for herO. He goes for it.
And herO's going for it with a lot of storms here, but plenty of the bio of Maru is coming down from the left, and he has to give up this third for now. The SCV's being pulled, and actually a lot of his army is in this medevacs here that were meant for a drop. He's pulling back home. The SCVs are deflecting herO for a bit here. And he's going to get this reinforcement pylon from the back. This army's being dropped from this failed drop coming back.
He's trying to flank from the back. herO has been so aggressive. He really does not want to let Maru complete his army composition. He does not want to let him max out, and he's going to kill on that thing. Killing 11 CVs recently, by the way, is going to help a lot.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, those EMPs.
The EMPs have gone down on the army here. And he's very, very Marauder heavy against a fair few Zealots. Oh, the Marauder flank from the left here, looking to snipe some Colossus. They don't quite get the job done, though. And there comes the big meat and potatoes part of Maru's army. The Archon's helping out a bit, but the Colossus are going to go snipe down. And it's just Zealots left against the Bio here with a couple of Stalkers. And it looks like with the Ghost helping as well, this is going to be enough here from Maru to deflect herO once more.
And I mean, herO, he's lost his entire army count here. Units are coming in one by one. They're dying instantly. The 3-3 Marauders and Medivacs killing them. herO's getting chased down. We could have a Maru leading 2-0 in this series.
Who is this kid and what has he done with Maru, Todd? Maru has all of a sudden leveled himself up and he is playing StarCraft like a god right now against a very heavily favored Protoss player. Warping in so many Zealots here. He knows that a counterattack is prevalent. He's just taking it easy. Scan sees a Dark Templar on the prowl.
Now, herO's only chance right now is to squeeze out as many Colossi that he can out of those two Robo and somehow getting a very, very good fight. But Maru, he has so much army, and I'm pretty sure he's going to keep on expanding behind this. And he's just doing much better overall. Like the units lost counts. He's about 19,000 for Maru, and 22,000 for herO. So he's lost a lot more units. He's not been that cost effective at all in the last few fights.
herO mining a lot of gas here. And it looked like there was a little squad of Marauders here that he's going to catch the DT, which is nice for Maru. Just one scan for a DT, pretty good trade. And he could pick up a group of Marauders here and go for a Nexus snipe or something like that. The Marauders with 3-3, which is done.
You know, it's
definitely
actually
snipe a Nexus.
It's crazy. herO killing SCVs kind of helped Maru because he's only using mules and he's going to just max out on a lot of ghosts. He's got already 8 of them. He's getting 2 more, 10 ghosts.
Yeah.
It's starting to be a lot. The only thing that he's been neglecting is Vikings, but he's fixing that right now. He's getting them 4x4, just making sure he has enough to deal with the Colossi of herO, in which case he's going to do great in this fight. As long as he doesn't take a really bad fight and get stormed, and I know it's very difficult and it's happened many times, I think Maru's going to do great in the next fight and win the game.
He's getting +2 as well, and I mean, I was just talking about how good Marauders are against the Nexus, and it looks like herO's Nexus here on the very far left side. This 4th Nexus is in a spot of bother with a lot of herO's army being in the Nexus here looking up at drops, and a lot of those Colossus really not what he wants against the Marauders. The Zealots is generally what he wants with Storm as well. And here comes Maru, wants that Nexus.
It's so funny.
Just enough from herO though.
herO seeing this chunk of army, he's so paranoid. He's sending so many units around his natural because he's like, this is a decoy. I know you want me to get scared, send everything on the left-hand side and then drop me in my natural. So he went back to the natural, but no, there was no plan at all to drop the natural here for Maru, who's now gonna group up with his entire army. We have 12 Ghosts, 28 Marines, 20 Marauders, and 9 Vikings against 6 Colossi, 5 Templars mostly.
And these Vikings nearly have +2 as well. The Colossus do see this, but here comes the big brunt, the big punch behind this attack. This Ghost count is insane, and Maru's going to have to look out for these feedbacks, but the EMP's also equally in trouble here. EMP's going down, not the most amazing EMPs. That's a lot better on the High Templar there. The Vikings getting a bit of damage on the Colossus.
If you could kill the
so
Vikings
much fire
here,
left.
herO is going to be able to hold if he can kill the Vikings decently, and he's doing a good job of that.
Yeah, the Vikings are being targeted down by the Stalkers. He blinks back. It looks like it might just be too much for Maru here. All the Vikings have gone down, but he just has a lot of Marauders still left. Not too many Marines. The Colossus dancing back and forth for this last couple Vikings from Maru, and he can actually stim and kill them both. This Nexus is in big trouble. He's warping in some High Templar to turn into Archons to soak it up. Maru is 60 army supply of the 28 of herO. herO is desperately trying to hold on here, but can he make enough to deal with the Terran army here?
I don't think so. I mean, even if he warps in Zealots and Templars, Maru can just kite endlessly, send in reinforcements. If you look at the minimap, you can see a trail of units right across the map.
And he's not going to stop either. He smells blood in the water here. He wants to get his victory. Some Dark Templar coming down here. Nice decision from herO to try and get that extra DPS, but the army supply really telling the tale here. 75 over the 28. Maru getting powerful, more and more powerful as time goes on. And another ship core has to be remade here. He can't even vote on overcharge.
I don't think he's going to do much, man.
I don't think so at all, man. He is in a spot of bother, that's for damn sure. Maru just has so much fire, and it's still being streamed across the map, albeit a little bit slowly, but the Archons, the big scary gas units are dead. The sentries are being warped in. What? Sentries are just dying and falling apart. They're just folding like wet paper here. And Maru gets himself a 2-0 victory over the heli-favored smiling assassin CJ herO. What are we even watching happen here? Maru with a 2-0 lead against this guy. He's really switched it on for this best of 5, sorry. If this was a better wishes with this best of 3. Oh man.
herO thought he was home, but apparently Maru is home. He's the one that's home so far, at least in this series, and he's here to stay, man. This is I don't think too many people expected that. There's probably a lot of Terran fans out there that hoped for it, but not even them believed it could happen.
Myself included.
That's okay. That's okay, Maynard.
So see, herO comes into the house, and he's already got a room. Maru comes into this house, Intel Extreme Masters, kicks through the door and says, buy me a sofa couch. I'm moving in. This is my tournament. I want this.
You take the lower bunk from now. Oh, man, this... Honestly, like, at first, it looked good, the decision of herO to just keep on attacking and keep the pressure on, not let Maru get his unit composition that he wanted to reach. But then all of a sudden, the hold was just good enough. He pulled the SCVs, he pulled the boys defensively, didn't lose that many of them. Even though, you know, there was some Colossus here and there, it was not enough Colossus to really make a difference. So pure gateway units, even when they're better graded, against a lot of bio, plus some Ghosts, plus some Medivacs, I mean, it's really hard. The entire strength of the Protoss army is in the Storms and Colossi. As soon as that's negated, it's so difficult to win one of these fights.
Yeah, lots and lots of splash damage. Great capabilities against bio, but you're absolutely right, Todd. If you EMP those High Templar, snipe the High Templar, shoot down the Colossus with those amazing Vikings, he's just unfazed, isn't he? He just doesn't care.
This is normal for him. Terran is still weak in his mind.
Well, he said it to Susie, and I mean, it's from the horse's mouth. So what are you going to do? You can't argue with him. He'll 1v1 you, bro. He'll tear you to pieces. CJ's herO, one map away from being eliminated from the Intel Extreme Masters. He would have come into this so confident if from Jin Air Green Wings. The Terran player one map away from the round of 4. This is Maru. And in the top left here from CJ Entis. He's going to have to win 3 games in a row here. This is herO.
Oh, the music got epic all of a sudden, man.
Yeah.
I think even the game realizes the epicness of this series, and I guess upsetting first 2 maps here maybe for herO a little bit. Who's going to have to stay focused. I mean, now we're on Deadwing. This is definitely one of the better maps to try and macro on. He's very good against Terran overall, you know, with the Blink Stalkers and Colossus. It's really, I don't know, it just feels like herO was missing a little something in those first 2 games, maybe a little bit of, you know, star sense,
yeah,
so to speak, and that put him a little bit behind. Of course, with the proxy in the first game, and by the look of things, we're gonna have a CC first on this map, which when you play against Maru, you can expect, and I think this may be why herO is gonna go for Nexus first. Being down 2 games, if he had been up against a Reaper here, he wouldn't be in so much trouble. And I mean, this is not even a very bad map if you think that your opponent might go for Nexus first to go for a double Raxon, and keep in mind he's playing Maru.
Yeah, who has prevalence to make a proxy every now and then and to make a lot of barracks before expanding.
herO scouting behind the Nexus, by the way, kind of tells us that he's going to want to be careful, a lot more careful overall against any opener, any tricky opener that Maru might throw at him. And I like that.
Yeah, yeah. He has to play safe. He has to do everything right in this map. This is his tournament life on the line. He's got 5 figures up for grabs if he can get into the round 4, but he's for a debut player, Maru is looking real good in this best of 5 already.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any chance we might see a very quick third base from either player. Maybe from herO even more than Maru, just because they both open very greedy, and no matter what happens from there in terms of, you know, teching and all that, they're going to be able to get enough forces early on to hold any kind of attack that the opponent could throw at them. But in this case, Maru doesn't know yet what he's up against. He hasn't gone for his scouts, and upon being scouted here, he's still not sending anything across the map. So we'll see in a moment whether he wants to go for that scout or not, and whether he gets a 3rd barracks before going into gases or not as well.
Yep, time will tell. We've got the orbital being made here in the south. This probe being a little bit annoying, but it's not long for this world. It needs to be headed back home pretty shortly as the bio has begun. No doubt we'll be seeing a lot of that in this game. 3rd barracks going down with that. So this is kind of like what you know, what Flash likes to do in TvP, going for the 3 barracks with the expand and keeping it gasless for quite a while. Well, you get that, you power ahead on minerals, and it should be pretty short. It should be taking the gas pretty shortly here.
Maru's inspiration is not Flash, it's Marine King, man. Prime boys, once upon a time.
That's it. I remember Maru playing for Prime back in the day, but not pulling up any huge results. That was until his OSL win in 2013.
I really like that herO's playing it super safe, you know, like as soon as the cybernetic score finishes, he's not going to be greedy, not going to try to start a very quick Stargate or something, you know, risky like this. Not going to start a very quick third Nexus. He gets the Stalker, he gets the Mothership Core, make sure he has enough to defend any kind of mass Marine that could hit him, really, because he knows that there may be a lot of Marines made, and he will be right about that. Maru taking the gases on his natural, that's pretty interesting. It means that he's going to be harder for herO to see, because ideally, like, what happens sometimes in this situation is that you check the main with the Mothership Core, but now you will be exposed to getting attacked.
Yeah, Marine's bullying that probe away from the tower, getting as much map control as possible. He's going to send one Marine out and see what he can see, but this Stalker's going to deny that pretty easily.
With the standard opener, herO almost always goes Twilight and Blink, but since he's been such a greedy opener and he's facing a CC first, he went for the very quick Robo plus Forge, so we could be seeing something special, like a Colossus drop into an all-in, or he could just play standard from here. Just take two Colossus, get Blink, get one or double Forge, then take a third base. Ideally the one, you know, just below his main in natural, not the other one. It's usually easier to defend against drops if you do it like this. Could take both.
Yeah, well, maru in position, just in case of Oracles, as we know that's not happening, but better to be safe than sorry. Wants to get himself a 3-0 here. He doesn't want to have to play any more against herO than he has to, as much as I want to see a 3-2. Got reactors going down on the barracks here. He knows he doesn't have to produce units for a while. He has enough to be able to handle himself. Getting his engineering bay now, and there's the robotics bay going down.
And
so
the
that
Twilight's most likely. Usually you follow this up with the Twilight very quickly. I wonder how many observers he's going to be actually. Like on these positions, against somebody like maru who loves to drop, but who somehow the sick game sense of not doing it too much in the last game when herO was always ready. I think it would be nice to get at least 3 to 4 observers.
Yeah. So maru sees that there's no super quick third Nexus or anything like that, and he obviously knows the spawning position of herO here. And you're absolutely right, Twilight Council is halfway done, coming along with that Colossus tech. +1 armor, also 3/4 of the way done. While maru gets his own upgrades, they're a fair bit behind, +1 attack on the way, but he is being very secure. He's getting turrets just in case of DTs. And this observer, or this probe of herO, he's still looking around.
Yeah, he's looking for hidden bases. This is so smart. Terrans, especially when you're up by 2 games like this, we've seen a lot of players, especially Terrans, hide command centers like this, you know, take a little bit of a gamble and say, well, if I'm able to pull it off and if my opponent doesn't see it, I'm going to have a great option on just winning right out because I'm going to have way too much. herO does not want to take any gambles anymore at this point. He's scouting more than he ever has in his life.
He finally learned, Todd. He finally learned.
Not just the proxies, man. He's staying ahead of meta, checking for hidden bases, and I can only compliment him on that. Like, sadly for him, he's not going to be able to find one, but this is definitely playing it safe, which I can only commend.
That's right. Third Nexus and a third CC actually going down roughly around the same time. maru opting to take his sort of not between the main and the natural because he doesn't want to have to deal with those rocks just yet. No more avenues of attack, but that ramp is very large and not too bad for Protoss or Attack Alpha. Getting the +1 attack, now following the +1 armor, which is all complete. Blink part of the way done, nearly done here. This observer seeing the army movements of maru. Hasn't confirmed the CC yet, but just a little bit of a movement and he will.
Yeah, I think he can kind of guess it's probably on the way, and it's all about seeing the army size here anyway, in which case, you know, if he had seen much more army than that, maybe he might have cancelled his second Nexus, but in this case, he shouldn't have to.
It looks like this probe's going to drop a pylon, which is actually in distance to be able to go into the mineral line of maru's third that he's just putting down here. maru gearing up for a bit of a drop. Just a couple of Marines and Marauders into that medevac. The Observer, will it see it? The Observer's actually moving out of position.
The blind spot, man.
Yeah. CJ herO's army moving around here, just keeping things safe between the third and the natural.
Yeah, herO's trying to fix the few blind spots that he has in terms of observers and seeing his opponent's army headed his way, so that he's capable of defending very nicely.
Yep.
Man, herO, I can't believe he's not making any cannons in his mineral lines.
He really loves Stalkers as well. I mean, he's got Blink, so that's obviously for the best. Can get a part of those the Vikings, get a part of the medevacs. And speaking of Vikings, we haven't seen any yet from maru. Once again, just going straight for bio and medevacs.
He always delays that a lot, actually. Still no second starport as well. 2 medevacs getting filled with units. At this point, maru, he knows that there is observers basically on the left-hand side of the map. So he might try to scan and drop later on, or he's just gonna fake a drop for now. I really don't think he's the kind to just fly past an observer and go for it, but maybe.
Yeah, well,
I don't think I've ever seen Maru really suicide medivacs with units in it. And
well, it's almost certainly be suicide if he comes in here. Oh, and that said, there's only 4 Stalkers managed. Oh, there's a warp in. Never mind. There's plenty of Stalkers. He sees a warp prism.
He won't get it. Might scan for the observer if he has enough Marines. Yeah, 4. Yeah, he doesn't see it. 4 now.
Maru's actually going to take that drop and drop back home because he knows the warp prism's on the way and he wants to bat it away, snipe it if possible. But
herO has a lot of money. What's happening? He's not macroing that well.
Yeah, he might be feeling a little bit on edge here and just concentrating too much on this engagement as he does blink forward. Gets a medevac, which is nice.
He's going... What? He's going for a massive timing here. 3 Colossus. He's even bringing the Mothership Core for double time warp. He's made so many Stalkers. He has charge and +2 armor about to complete here. herO, he's going to commit a lot to this.
And there's no static defense here from Maru. He just has to rely on the bio. There's only 2 Vikings versus 3 Colossus here, Todd. He's going to have to rely just on this engagement with the bio spread. The spread is nice, but the Colossus are doing so much damage to the back with the external thermal lance. And a big warp in of the Zealots as well. Force fields also stymieing the flow. Some Vikings coming in, but a blink there with the Stalkers could take out the Vikings, and he will. The SCVs have to be pulled from the 3rd.
And all of a sudden, it's still 3 Colossus against no Viking. Maru is running out of steam, literally. He's had to steam twice. He's losing a lot. herO's gonna break this, I think.
Yeah, he looks like he just has too much. He's up so much in supply, he's making a Dark Shrine just in case for a follow-up. And Maru down on upgrades, down on units. And he's looking down in this game as the Zealots and the Stalkers with the Colossus continue their reign of terror. 22 SCVs killed. How does Maru even come back from this if herO wins? And it certainly looks like he's going to. He presses into the natural. The bio of Maru coming down from the main. Just to give another this point, 11 SCVs go down in that fight. And with this reinforcement from herO, he can continue to press the issue. He's not by no means done here.
I mean, at this point, Maru is down to 34 SCVs against 62 probes. The Dash Run's about to finish, and he's just going to get in there. And without Vikings...
Yeah, no Vikings.
All he can do is steam in there, snipe a Colossus, but at what cost? Look, his units, they're dying.
Yeah, and he doesn't have much here. He's trying to delay for an upgrade or something to help him out here, but that I don't think it will too much. I mean, there's just Gateway here down the bottom. The Colossus are out of the picture for now. Down up near the Warp Prism.
herO stayed on 1 single forge intentionally here. If he wanted to macro further, he would have gotten the 2nd one, but he knew this whole time that upon reaching charge and more upgrades, he would attack. And Maru is on the verge of losing his first map here in this series.
Yeah, the 3rd CC is going to be sniped here by the Stalkers, and that's a big pick-off. No 2nd play in here for Maru. If he somehow miraculously holds here, which it certainly doesn't look like, he doesn't really have a follow-up other than to be aggressive, and there's that forward blink that we know and love herO for, and GG! herO gets himself a map in this series, going 1 and 2 versus Maru.
Maru's been playing pretty good overall, but in that game, I'm starting to pick up on one thing that's really wrong about it. It's that he loves medivacs way too much. You don't need to get that many medivacs. You can just stop after 4, maybe sometimes even 3, and just get a ton of Vikings. But he's not doing that. He's going up to something like 6 medivacs. And lacking Vikings as much as he did here against Colossus, it's always going to be difficult to win any fight, especially against double time warp and force field. Like, how do you ever win that fight? You just can't. You will need to have way more army supply, the sickest concave of all time. He had neither. He had a pretty decent one, but not good enough in the end. So I think herO probably picked up on that with the previous game, because even when, you know, that big attack hit and he had a lot of Colossus, there still wasn't that many Vikings. And after this, Maru never really remade that many Vikings either. So
yeah, the Vikings were late to the party for sure. He didn't identify until it was too little too late that there was 3 Colossus moving across the map with just enough upgrades to seal the deal. And I mean, this kid Maru, he still only needs to win 1 map. He's still very, very close to that semi-final, and he wants it so badly. You can't see it in his face because he's got the sickest poker face of all time, but he wants it really, really badly here.
I'm sure he does, and he's going to need to make more Vikings if he has to face the Colossi of herO, let me tell you.
Well, I mean, it worked out for him again on Varney in game 2, but...
yeah, but it was really herO attacking into him that made it work. It was ideal.
Very true. Now, the map we're coming up on is Secret Spring, and we've seen nothing but crazy games on Secret Spring so far. Maru tried proxying, partying on it last time. Really didn't work out for him. In fact, we tested it afterwards. He tried to drop a bunker next to the barracks, up on the high ground natural, where you can back expand on Secret Springs, and you can't actually fit a Marine in there, even if the SCV wasn't blocking. So we're all just wondering what his plan was there, but He's going to have something else hopefully in store for herO if he wants to get himself a 3-1 victory. Otherwise, it'll be 2 apiece. In the right spawn here from Junior Green Wings. This is herO. In the far left spawn from CJ Entis. This is herO. Wanting his 4th Intel Extreme Masters Championship.
Oh my god, herO. Pylon at the ramp to spot any kind of SCV trying to head inside of his base.
What a clever cookie. He knows that herO did it last time. He would have seen him, he was here yesterday, I saw him just in his casual clothes.
And he's checking his entire base. herO is on panic. I've never seen him like this. Oh, he might go for a gateway down there, actually. A gateway on 10.
It looks like it.
Yeah. And he's gonna go for, I think, a Zealot and Mothership with a Stalker rush, most likely, since he's opening like this. The rush distance on this map is actually so short that Harstem in a PvP pulled off an 8-8 gateway, which on any other map, you have to go for 10-10 gates.
It's actually, if you look in the middle, it's actually shorter than Steps of War between one main and the other. Seriously, it actually is.
Maynard has done the calculations, guys. Here
just
it is
look
for
at
you.
it. I've played a lot of games with Steps of War, mate. I don't know about you, all right? So you just got to... This rush distance is so short and so gross. You just send one Zealot from this gateway, you'll be at your opponent's main in no time. And that's the main base, not the natural, by the way. This is where all the tech is.
And herO is opening Reaper. He's opening Reaper, and I don't think he's going to scout on time to see that and be able to defend it really well. If you have one Reaper and there is the Mothership Core in your main, what do you do here?
Oh my god.
It's going to be tough. I mean, he's going to have to scout right after the barracks and ideally seeds, maybe get a bunker. He doesn't even have enough gas to start a Reaper. Like, his build wasn't super crisp. He made the gas maybe a little bit late.
Yeah. It did certainly. I think he dropped it on 13 instead of 12 if he was going to go for that kind of Reaper, Reaper as soon as the barracks finished. But
he's going to scout at least. And there is no Zealot as well, which I do think maybe would have helped. Then again, against a Reaper, you're never sure if you meet him. Yeah. If you meet it too early, it's going to be hard.
I mean, if he went Zealot first, that means that if the Reaper got into the main of herO and herO somehow held that Zealot back at home, there's not a whole lot he can do against, a Reaper in his mineral lane.
Stalker is being chrono boosted out and Mothership Core as well. herO has spotted this. He's going to start a Marine immediately after the initial Reaper that he made, starting a bunker up the ramp as well. Does he still go into CC? Does he have the guts to still go for it? So far, he's not been ever letting himself basically get impressed, and he's always gone for the CC. But no, finally, an additional barrack, he finally respects an attack that's coming.
And this Reaper actually managed to skirt around the Mothership Core and the Stalker. And it's looking for an exit support. Actually, it's going to go straight into the main. One Marine going to the bunker here. That's not enough against the Stalker, especially the Mothership Core comes back. Does he want to go home? No, he's just sending the Mothership Core out.
Oh, herO's not noticing.
He's just going to have to send the Stalker home and deal with this Reaper here. The Reaper's already got a couple kills, and herO's actually pulled a lot of SCVs here to deal with that Stalker. He's taking it very seriously.
It's going to be all about the macro here. Both players trying to make sure they don't get surrounded. The Stalker across the map, getting chased by SCV and probes, most likely. Actually, that Stalker should be able to defend against the Reaper, but herO, if he moves it nicely and keep it alive, it's going to be so annoying for herO here.
Oh, and he's been very nice, utilizing that cliff to run circles around the Stalker, quite literally. And he's gone to 4 probe kills already, 5 probe kills with this Reaper. No SCVs have died yet, but he's got a lot of mining time denied, at least, from these things chasing the Stalker around so much. They really want that surround, but he's not getting it.
herO, having lost this many probes, he has such a little saturation. He wanted to start a Nexus.
And this Stalker's actually going to be killed. This Stalker's dead. He can just chase it down with three Marines, and he can just drop that CC. That said that the Mothership Core is in the main doing a bit of damage, but he hasn't killed anything yet.
Yeah.
The Stalker is killed. He didn't even lose a Marine.
herO not only defended back at home, but he kills so many probes back across the map, kept his Reaper alive, that herO Reaper getting the 6 kills. He's going to bring herO on 20 SCVs against just 19 probes now.
And herO getting that quicker CC as well. herO looking definitely ahead here at the early stages of this game on Secret Spring. Mothership Core coming in for another poke. There are more than enough Marines to deal with this.
He's getting concussive shells, so I think he's going to get one Molder, quite a few Marines, move across the map, and look to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Well, you know that...
the gateway is down there, and the photon overcharge wouldn't reach that cybernetics core. Plus the pylon, he could literally kill all the 3 buildings if he moves out across the map. And you can't kite with the Stalker against concussive shells.
That's so smart. I hope he does that. We'd love to see the Marauder come down here. Could unpower the Cybernetics Core and the Gateway, or just kill the Gateway straight up. Reaper nearly dying, but boy, has this Reaper been worth his weight in gold. 6 kills, all probes here on that one Reaper. And the Bio is going down with, just oddly enough, getting concussive shell. Oh, sorry, combat shield.
It's go time.
It is go time. Stimulus attack here from Maru.
2 Marines should be enough to buy some time for more Marines to come out and challenge that mothership core, but he's gonna head back now. Actually, herO might have to recall, and then he wouldn't have enough energy yet for a photon overcharge.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have it soon. He's on 176 right now. But I mean, that gateway, that cybernetics core, and this pylon, how are they gonna survive? It's really gonna come down to that Oracle plus the Stalkers that are in the main to do the job.
He did not see this coming. That's an unpowered gateway and cybernetics core. herO in a bit of trouble here. There's two Marauders and a lot of Marines here. Todd, what can herO do? He's trying to make an Oracle, which will help out against the Marines.
He could recall with the mothership core, but he's spraying it back instead.
Oh, of all the times, of all the times, goodness gracious. That's gonna be a Jimmy's rustling right there.
This Bioforce is actually, he just unpowered the Stargates before we had to pause here. So a pylon was restarted next to the Stargates, and herO is just in so much trouble. His army supply is only 11. I think, how much does he have? He has 3 Stalkers and a mothership core, and an Oracle that's never gonna come out, basically, or well, not before it's gonna matter, basically. Not before it's gonna matter. The pylon only now restarted against 12 Marines, 4 Marauders. Not all of those units are in herO's base, but most of them are.
Oh man.
This is trouble here for herO.
It's a huge problem here. The probes have already all been pulled. He needs every single thing that can do damage to surround the bio here and somehow trade efficiently against it as well. Those 3 Stalkers are not going to be so handy against the Marauders. I mean, he's not stimming, which is nice, but he's at least putting on the hurt. He's unpowering the Stargate here.
Unpowering the Stargates is like such a massive... That Oracle was so close to... I think it was like 5 seconds from finishing. If that Oracle finishes, the Marines and Marauders, they're so busy attacking the units and the probes that are right outside that they won't target it immediately. And it could do a lot of damage before dying. Like kill... If even instant, like, you know, a few Marines, then he holds comfortably. And then from there, you know, like... He has the mothership core alive, he has the double photon overcharge, he can just transition, go into Colossus, whatever he wants, and he's okay. But now with the way it's been going, I really think that herO is going to take more damage. And behind this, he's not really done anything to Maru's economy. Yeah. Maru's not already going to know about the potential oracles that could head his way. He's going to be able to get an eBay, get turrets. He's going to leave enough bio, especially Marines in his middle line to defend. So very, very scary situation here for herO in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that Oracle did come out, not only could he have cleaned up or done a lot of damage against those Marines along with the probes and with the Stalkers, but the potential counterattack of that Oracle could be pretty horrifying as well. I mean, there's no engineering bay, there's no turret back at home. It could do a lot of counter damage, but yeah, it's just we're getting into the game now. Both players getting a moment to just lower their heart rates and think a little bit. Doesn't look like hero's lowered his heart rate a whole lot.
I hope it's not going to be like San earlier. It's like a long break to leave instantly after.
Yeah.
He comes up. But he's not nearly in as bad as the situation as San was, but it's actually a little bit similar to some extent.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll be an instant GG, but it's certainly looking like
Maru's looking confident, right?
Yeah. he looks shocked, amazed, confident, happy, and relieved all at once.
Everything at the same time, huh?
Yep. Everything at once here for the Genève player.
It's every time I see these guys come to these tournaments and be like just not fazed by anything and play so well, I always wonder, I don't know how to phrase it. I guess what went wrong with me? I wasn't like that at all playing tournaments and growing up. I was super stressed.
Yeah.
I was very emotional. Not in a good way.
Not many people know this, but I used to play Quake. That was kind of like the game I was competitive in back in the day. I've never been competitive in StarCraft, not even once. I mean, I'm not very good at the game compared to back in the day in Quake, but I always got so stressed before a tournament. In fact, I think I threw up before one of them. That's how nervous I was. I don't know how to get that.
Did you win?
No, I think I top forward, but I did make it. I had a different ID back then as well. I'm not telling anyone it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you started talking about it, you need to tell us.
No, I'm not going to worry about that.
All right, Maru here. I really feel like he's in a great position. Like, as long as he can do a little bit more damage in the main of herO, as long as he makes sure, you know, he's basically just paying attention to his army. He doesn't need to macro anything. Doing damage right now is going to be more important than focusing back at home on making depot, making units. It's all about the damage that he can inflict to be ahead in the game. I don't think that he's going to end the game on this attack, but he should be able to get further ahead from it. And herO, obviously, but he's going to be focusing on the defense here. Which I didn't see how close the Mothership Core was. I think it was pretty close. Should be.
It was like halfway across the map.
It didn't photon overcharge yet, right?
No,
I think it was closer than halfway across the map, I think.
Okay. Oh, we've let the game, so we can't check ourselves.
You know, I really feel like in this game, if herO had kind of, foreseen or realized that this attack was going to come, he would have added additional gateways rather than go for a Stargate. Because if he had had something like 3 to 4 gateways, he would have been able to make enough Zealots and Stalkers to defend comfortably against this attack. Rather than now, where he take to an Oracle that did nothing, put him behind on the unit count, and kind of leaves those Marines and Marauders to do damage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people predicting what's going to happen next here. And if I was one of those people in Twitch chat right now, I'd be going, guys, it's Maro 3-1. It's a lot of bio, and it's going to be tough.
Like we keep on saying that, but it was actually kind of hard to see. It was a very chaotic attack, so...
Yeah, it was nuts before.
Maybe herO's going to photon overcharge, lose absolutely nothing, and crush Maru behind it. I have my doubts, Maynard. I have my doubts. But maybe.
I have doubts too.
In the beautiful world of StarCraft, sometimes you see crazy things happening.
You do. It's the wonderful and magical thing about this game is that stuff that I don't expect happens all the time. And you think you know stuff, but then a player will come and surprise you.
And the thing is that we're watching as well. Imagine playing against them. You'd be surprised every single moment.
The only thing I'd be surprised about if I was playing against them is if I did any damage whatsoever. Or even took a map off them in a best of 3.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. These guys are good,
I'm getting some ideas for Secret Springs. I might try and weasel that one into a best of 3 if I get into a tournament.
I mean, the proxy in this game didn't do so well for herO at all. It was the reaction by Maru. He finally respected one of the very big aggression that was headed his way with the second barracks and of Marines.
Yeah.
Good micro.
Was it a proxy? Is that technically a proxy if it's at the main sort of ramp area?
What does proxy mean, that word? It's short for...
Outside of the main.
It's short for proximity. So to some extent, on this map, you already have a lot of proximity to your opponent's base in the regards that the rush distance is kind of short.
Yeah.
And he brought that even closer by getting his gateway outside of his base. So I guess it qualifies.
Yeah.
To me.
I agree.
In my book.
I'll agree with you. I'll pay that.
Thank you.
You explained it very well. It's hard to argue with. So.
I really wonder if there is any way he could have done it better. Maybe with a Zealot. Because against a Zealot, you go past that Reaper, and then you have the Mothership Core getting in very fast as well. He was really entirely relying mostly on the Stalker to do damage, and didn't really rely too much on the Mothership Core. And I really feel like the Mothership Core and the Zealot followed by a Stalker is probably better. Remember Habitation Station? He did very well on this map, this kind of rushes, so...
Yeah.
But I guess the Nexus, obviously, you cannot move it closer to your opponent's space, so it will still take quite a bit of time.
Maybe in Legacy of the Void.
He knows better than me, I'm sure, herO.
Well, the countdown has begun, and we're about to get straight back into the game, guys. So without further ado, let's see how this one plays out. The bio does unpower the Stargate. Oh, God, that Oracle was 50 out of 50, but it hasn't popped up. Oh, my God. And he's continuing to kill probes here with this bio. It is starting to thin out. The Stalkers are getting the job done, but he's killed 7 probes in this attack, Todd.
And 7 is a massive number. This is actually the number he's ahead in workers in this game now. Combat Shield's about to finish. Behind this, obviously, herO feels like he's going to have to do some damage, so he's going to start moving across the map with Stalkers to maybe try and kite some units. But I mean, good luck kiting 3 Marauders and a bunch of Marines. I guess he's going to rely a lot on the Oracle.
They're meeting in the middle. 3 Stalkers coming down here, the Oracle coming down as well.
Yeah, he can't
Doesn't want to tangle that, but at least he could try and pull Maro back by getting some Oracle beams into the natural, but he has turrets in place. He's prepared for this.
Yeah, and he still has double photon overcharge available, but that gateway, he has to die. I think Maro might actually try to move up the ramp, in which case he gets force fielded and killed, but he has so many units that it's going to be hard for herO to split enough units.
Just enough for a force field there with that Sentry, and he only catches 1 Marauder.
The Oracle.
Thinking it out a little bit.
Let's see if the Oracle can get at least 1 SCV that's building the barracks. Should be able to, but no, herO's just going to pull back his focus on defending back at home. He has double gateway in his main, but I mean, well, he might have to keep on warping in sentries, and I mean, ideally he would like to be making Stalkers.
He's got 1 more force field here. And he does delay the army a little bit, doesn't drop that force field, so not quite baited out. And the Oracle floating around Maru's base has only got 1 kill here.
So many walkers behind, Maynard. 7 walkers behind. This is 7 walkers behind plus Mule. In terms of income, I mean, this is going to be ridiculous. We have 1,300 income for the Terran player, 800 income for the Protoss player. This is just a terrible situation to be in.
The only thing he's got going for him is that Blink's done, and Blink's a good upgrade, but he doesn't have enough units to use it with. I mean, he's moving across the map with not many Stalkers at all. He's setting up a proxy pipeline for an attack. Oh, we got the Oracle! Sniped the Oracle there with some Marines at the back of the natural. And yeah, that Oracle got some SCV kills, but now that it's dead, herO can't split Maru's attention anymore.
It keeps getting from bad to worse. Maru scans the main, sees a robo here. Is he gonna move down the ramp? That is the question right now. If he sends just a single Marine down the ramp, sees those sentries, he's gonna be in a great position for this not to happen. But right now, Maru, I think he realized
he's
how
so
far
patient.
ahead. Yeah, he's far ahead enough to just wait for medivacs and win right out. And as I say that,
the sentries are out of position though, and he's just going to stem through. The sentries are all out the pylon. herO's in so much trouble. This bio is too much for him.
He does have
my
blink.
God.
He can warp in there, and he does have blink. I'm not sure why he's not warping in. Maybe cooldown on the gateway.
Quite possibly. Double medivacs, 2 at a time coming out of this starport here, and this proxy pylon's dead. This attack is dead. There's not much you can do here against this many Marauders with Stim. The Stalker's blinking away.
Oh, the sentries know that they can't go back home, so he's going to hide them out on the map. But that means they're not going to be back at home for not only sentries, but Guardian Shield as well.
They can't run, they can't hide. Maru knows where they are, and they're going to go down. Force fields go down, and that's it for the sentry energy. And Maru is actually going to stim with a reinforcement for the natural. Oh my God, I think this is it for herO. I think that Maru is going to get himself a 2-1 victory, a 3-1 victory here in this best of 5. Oh my God, he's pushing through the middle. He's blinking back. What's he got left? It's 35 army supply versus 6, Todd. 50 worker supply versus 34. herO has got absolutely nothing going for him right now. Maru can just send his army across the map. He's got enough. He's warping in what he can because he knows his tournament life's on the line, but his tournament life is over. Maru is going to get into the round of 4. He's stimming. Nice micro, nice blinks, but it's just a game of numbers at this point. The Marauders are joining the party. It's just 90 supply versus it's almost double the supply of the Protoss player here, and he's only making Stalkers at this point. 50 SCVs versus the 30. He's even taking a third. That's how confident he is at this point. Why not Maru taking his third? Oh my God, the Zealots are just being shredded apart by the Marines. The Marauders are doing the worst. 1 medevac picked off, great, but the Stalkers are just too few in number.
The Mothership Core is on strike, man. It's in the middle of the map doing absolutely nothing. herO did a good job of staying in this game, but it's gonna come to an end at some point. The 76 score is gonna be sniped, and Maru's production is not slowing down anytime soon.
Nah, absolutely not. Look how many barracks he dropped behind this attack as well. He knew that this push, this timing, this is his game. Is it his tournament? Time will tell. He'll move on to the round of 4 for tomorrow. GG! The final Terran of the Intel Extreme Masters moves on to the semis for Grand Final Sunday. And the 3-time Intel Extreme Masters champion is going to be excused from the tournament. Huge, huge win for Maru here, and he is, look at his facial expressions. He is completely overwhelmed with emotion here. He cannot believe that he is 3-1 herO. Oh, this kid is just bursting at the seams.
Actually looked a bit confused here for a second, but just gonna go and check his opponent's hand.
I think when people look at the bracket, they might be confused, Todd, tomorrow if they missed the games today.
Yeah,
oh,
definitely. Very, very good play here out of Maru. Much better than yesterday, that's for damn sure. I mean, against Protoss in particular. Against Zerg he did well, but against Protoss was very disappointing against Sparting, and just did so much better here.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, I'm just a little bit flabbergasted. I can't believe Maru played so amazingly well against herO there, and I'm just going to have to take a breather and cross over to the desk with Paul and the rest of the boys. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Maynard. Yes, you can take a breather, sir. You've done a good job on that one. And congratulations to Maru, then, who becomes only the 3rd player to win against herO here at the Intel Extreme Masters. It very much was Apollo and Kalaris, a tale of the rookie defeating the champion.
I feel deflated. Red eye.
Well, oblivion. Yeah, I can't actually find mine, so it's not going to work. Sorry, we could have done that in unison then.
I do. It's sad that it's still going down and I can't fix it.
Sorry, Sean.
He's actually broken his chair down.
Sorry. It's sad to see herO out.
Yeah.
But the dream of Life versus Maru still exists.
Which is the final I wanted.
Yeah, that is a final that a lot of people want to see.
The prodigious talent of the two
Yeah.
going head-to-head in a grand final is something I've always wanted to see. James, I read one comment on the Liquid Live thread, which we often follow, which really stuck out for me, and that was the panelists haven't really given Maru the credit he deserves. Now, having now beaten the champion of the Intel Extreme Masters, do we now have to do that now? I mean, it's the right thing to do, but should we have maybe given him a bit more credit before the game?
I don't think he even needed to beat herO there to actually give him the credit he deserves. I think the game, especially game number 2 that we watched there, very, very close, very back and forth, but in the end, his decision-making and his engagement positioning won him out the game. I think that was enough for us to give him the credit he deserves. He's always been a good player, obviously, but just yesterday didn't really reflect what we expect of Maru. Today has done so far.
Yeah, it wasn't as dominant as I guess we thought he might be in that group, and with Parting going through top, that was what kind of maybe skewed us a little bit, maybe gave us a few doubts today.
Yeah, that was the one game where we were, against Zerg, if he was playing as Zerg, everyone would have been on the hype train. Okay, well, we saw what he did yesterday. But against Parting, it was a bit of a disappointing performance. So Parting and herO aren't two different types of players, play very similar. So you kind of expected maybe Maru to fall down that trap again versus herO, but he showed a very different performance today against Protoss, and now he's kind of completed his Zerg versus Zerg, his Zerg versus Protoss. There's no more Terrans left in the tournament.
No.
So he's on his way.
Yeah, he is, absolutely. It's almost a nice way of having a Terran in there as well, because right now, at the top of the bracket, we've got a Zerg, a Protoss, and now a Terran. So it's one from each. We're going to have one of them is going to get something extra in the final game because we've got a PVZ. But nevertheless, yeah, it's pretty good result, I think, for all the races. In terms of the way that Maru played through the games, was it as expected for you? I mean, the way that he played through the builds, the way he kind of countered very well against herO?
Everything he did today is how he usually plays. Right down to the 2 barracks at the start of the series, through to the low Viking count, heavy units, very focused on his control, his ability to flank with Marauders and Marines, the ability to charge at Colossus was something that he uses a lot. He played very well, and like we usually see him do in Star League and Pro League. Yeah.
Do you think in that fourth game, he really had that? I mean, we've seen it before with some players. They get to the point where it could be match winning, and then they pull back. And Maru was actually very killer-like in that last game. Nope, I'm going to finish this right here and now. It's nice to see that kind of play.
Yeah, especially if you're in Maru's shoes like that. If you see your opponent has failed somewhat an aggressive maneuver that they really want to play out early on, then I think there's a lot of incentive for them to just take their small advantages that they have there and then push on through.
Yeah, sure, but we do see a lot of players who are a bit more circumspect. It almost seems like they get to that point where they've got a choice of saying, okay, I could go for the kill and be a little bit risky and maybe it doesn't pay off, or I could play safe and just rebuild Koreans on the back of what I'm doing. But
can do that very well.
Yeah.
Just identify small little things and then just push for the victory. That actually is what makes a lot of the top Korean players stand out against, like, say, the talent we have in the Western scene, where they will have an advantage, but play a little bit safer and stay back. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to keep defending. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, I really question. I actually wasn't listening to see if Todd said it or not, but herO's choice of strategy on that last map, I don't think he needed to do that. In all fair, you're one game away from losing, and what he was banking on was because that map has an expansion inside itself, pretty much. He was hoping that because on this map, Maru being one game away from winning, that you just take it very fast, and his build is perfect against that. If there is a command center first, he rushes over with Stalker and Mothership Core, and he can end the game instantly. He goes to game 5. But it was a Reaper opening, and it was the complete counter because he moved over, he saw what was going on, he prepared for it, he killed 6 workers with the Reaper, and it was over from that point.
Yeah, disappointing obviously for herO. Do you think he underperformed in this game, or is it just that Maru actually played much better?
That's a difficult question to answer, really. Compared to his normal, I would say he did play subpar.
Yeah. Especially in relation to the choice that he made in Game 4, as you're mentioning as well. I don't think he needed to do that as well. I agree.
Yeah, a little bit risky maybe. Why do you think he went that way?
Probably
was
pressure.
it just maybe he actually... Do you think the pressure played its part?
I think so.
I mean, he's been up there quite a lot.
I think that because he's been up there so much, and he's won so many tournaments, and the thought of losing can, you know, inspire fear inside you. You can be like, you know, I don't want to lose, so I'm going to take this risk to make sure I can still win, and maybe that consumed him. It's hard to tell without knowing exactly his thoughts.
I'm not hearing whether we've got Maru yet, but hopefully we have. In fact, we have. Good. So let's go to the stage where Susie is with our Victor.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. I am here with Maru. He has beat out a 3-time champion here to make it to the round of 4. You know, he kept on saying all week to me, Terran is weak, I'm going to win 50-50. You know, he's never been very sure about it, but I think he's lying to me. Why are you lying to me?
제가 생각하기에는 다 반반이라고 생각하고 게임에 들어가기 때문에 그런 거고요. 제가 잘한다고 생각하면 막 던지는 게 있어가지고 그런 거 조심하려고 좀 그렇게 생각하게 되는 것 같아요.
All right, he says he really does feel like all the games he goes into, it's going to be a 50-50. If he starts thinking he's any better than his opponents, then he's got a tendency to throw the game, and so he doesn't want to do that. He just kind of goes into it thinking that everyone has an equal shot at the game. I don't know, I still think he's kind of lying. So do you still think Terran is weak? 아직도 테란이 지금 약하다고 생각해?
이겨가지고 막 그런 말은 못 하겠는데 제가 생각할 때는 좀 약한 것 같아요.
He's like, I know I just won with Terran, so I guess I can't say that anymore. But from my personal opinion, I still do think they are pretty weak. Okay, well, I know you must feel really good about winning and getting to the round of 4, but does it feel better because you've taken down a 3-time Intel, you know, Extreme Masters champion?
일단 준호 형이 제가 생각하기에는 제일 잘하는 선수라고 생각하고 왔기 때문에 되게 좋은 것 같고 이제 다 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
He said, you know, I really respect herO. I think herO's a really good player, and so of course it feels really good. So now that I've beat down that really hard herO, the really hard player, I think I'm going to be able to win it all, even though Terran is weak. 테란이 약한다면서 어떻게 이걸 다 이길 거야?
운이죠.
He said it's luck that's going to bring him to the end. All right, well, and speaking of herO, because he is a very good player, did he play better or worse than you expected him to?
뭐 그런 생각을 안 하고 와가지고 잘 모르겠는데 그냥 오늘 제가 게임이 잘 풀린 것 같아요.
He said, I really haven't given it much thought, but I just feel like everything just kind of went the way that he needed it to go. He just felt really good about his builds, and everything kind of unfolded the way that he expected. So, you know, here he is. And lastly, next up, you're going to be playing against Rain, who is a Protoss player, or Solki, who is a Zerg player. Who do you want to face, or who do you want to avoid?
그냥 뭐 둘 다 잘하시는 분들이라서 잘 모르겠는데 저는 저우가 올라왔으면 좋겠어요.
Again, he says they're both very good players, so he doesn't really know who he wants to play, but he would rather prefer to play against a Zerg than a Protoss. 이 두 선수들이 어느 점들이 제일 잘한다고 생각해?
그냥 제가 많이 져가지고 잘하는 것 같아요.
I asked him what aspects of these players are so good, and he goes, well, I just lose a lot to them before, so I think they're both really good. All right, well, you know what? I think this is the best interview that Maru has ever given me so far, and congratulations. I'm very happy for you, and back to you guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Susie. Sean's clapping. Is that clapping for Susie or Maru? I don't know.
Both.
Both. Okay.
Excellent performances up there.
Excellent performances. 10 out of 10, 8 out of 8. Rate that, mate.
Rate that, mate.
Okay, good. Joking aside, he doesn't want to play a Protoss. Do you find that surprising after beating?
Well, he said he was lucky, and he says he's going to be lucky. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, in the end.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to move on to our last quarter-final, and we'll get your thoughts about that after the break. But I just wanted to ask, so far, of the 3 matches we've had so far, who's impressed you the most of the 6 players you've seen?
Go on.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Who was the first series of the day again?
It wasn't that long ago.
Parting Classic. It was the PvP, wasn't it?
Yeah, Parting Classic.
most impressive out of all players who have advanced through so far is that guy on stage.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. Is that just because of the quality of the player he's played against, though?
Well, because all the other games were a bit one-sided, and this one was one where I expected Mario not to win.
For me, the comparison comes from it is a comparison from yesterday to today. Is that Live played as good as he did yesterday, so I wasn't as surprised. Very similar to Parting, and then Maru, who didn't play as well as he did yesterday, especially against Parting, stepped it up a level today, and that's the reason.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, gents. We are headed to another break. Unfortunately, we do have to have a break, but when we come back, we will have our final quarter-final of the day. The king is dead. Long live the king. Maro is through to the round of 4. We'll see you in a few. He's more likely to do what Parting did and go kind of proxy something the second game, and then if he loses that, somehow he's already on the back foot.
I mean, even approaching a best of 5, I imagine Maru would almost always mix in something like a proxy. Yeah. Every time you watch Maru play, he loves aggression. Yeah. He loves it. Yeah. I mean, even if he is a little bit on tilt and giving up in that situation, I still think he would mix it in regardless. Okay, we've got a man who's won 3 Premier titles, all of them Intel Extreme Masters. We've done that one to death. I want to talk about Maru and titles. It's been a while, Sean. I mean, 2013, it was the OSL, not the GSL back then, but it was WCS Korea. Yep. Season 2. He had a terrific run that season. I remember it very vividly. Yep. Fantastic play all the way through. We haven't really seen much after that. I would say that he didn't struggle in 2014. His race struggled in 2014. Okay. Terran had a very difficult time, especially around the rain that herO shot up to the top. It was kind of the similar times. herO shot up to the top because Protoss at that time was strong. Yep. But credit to herO, he stayed on the top, even though Protoss came back down again. But Maru at the same time struggled against Protoss after Protoss after Protoss. He didn't know how to approach the matchup. He's got a very unique style to play in the matchup. And that's the reason for not winning a tournament in 2014. His results, though, on the other hand, were still very consistent. Yeah, is he still a world-class player? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and as Sean was saying, during that period where, yes, his race was struggling, he was one of the only Terrans to stay really relevant during that period. I think it was 1 or maybe 2 seasons he was the last remaining Terran in GSL. Definitely, yeah, absolutely. They were a dying breed in GSL as well at the time that he was making it through. This man on your screen, however, what is it with the Intel Extreme Masters and this man? Well, why is he so... I mean, he has made other finals. We saw him do that last year, and he's been fantastic in Pro League for his team. I think he's probably their killer player.
That he does like the whole adaptation aspect of the games. He doesn't like preparing for an opponent. And so this might be his turn to shine. herO, on the other hand, already just went ahead and said, no, I'm probably going to beat Maro. I'm going to beat Maro. I just don't want to meet Rain. That's what he said. Yeah, that might actually have to happen, though, unfortunately for him. That might happen. He understands that. But the last game of the day is still a coin flip. I think we'll find that out a bit later on, obviously. Let's talk a little bit about herO. We've talked about the 3 titles at Intel Extreme Masters. The one that he didn't get was obviously the one that he really wanted, which was winner takes all at World Championship, which he lost to SOS. It's the only time he's been beaten in a final, having made 4. But he's also lost a couple along the way, one of which was to Polt, as Claris has already pointed out. But the keenest 2 are the ones that he lost to Snoop, twice, actually. So, I mean, he's shown vulnerabilities. He's shown them against Zergs, but not necessarily against Terrans, as we do see CJ Antiterra coming out onto the stage. Not as smiley as usual. No, I was going to say. This is a big game. This is important. A little bit. Oh, there it is. There's a smile. Hey, what a cutie pie. That's the smile before he stabs you 3-0. And there's Maru, or the Terran player is not even 18 yet. I really want to. I think we should talk about is Maru versus Parting. 2-0 instant win. He approached that Maro, that is, with a bad mindset. Didn't think he could beat him. Was like, you're partying. Tried to play him the first game, and then decided to choose second game. It almost felt like he just gave up. Yeah. And he can't do that here. No, absolutely. I mean, best of 5 actually offers him a slightly better opportunity, perhaps, over the long game. But if he loses first match, we've said this about the first 2 matches, and it's kind of played out that way. If he loses the first map, these days, because we're always talking about how many titles he's won at Intel Extreme Masters, because it's so unique. But 4 finals, and he's 2 matches away from being in his 5th final of 6
Intel Extreme Masters.
In all of StarCraft, there just isn't and never has been that level of consistency from anybody. Sure, you had in Wings of Liberty, MVP's reign, but that was over years. This is over a specific tournament.
Yep.
And it's been almost back-to-back for the majority
Absolutely.
of it.
And the only one I can think of that's kind of close is Tasia at DreamHack.
Right.
A little bit. But even then,
it
was a number of years as well. So
it's unbelievable what hero's able to achieve at these tournaments.
It's far more as well, because it's like, for the majority of it, he's come through the Asian qualifiers.
Yes.
And those have been
Almost
totally
every
ridiculous every single time. So.
It's funny you should bring that up, because he actually has met Maru twice in previous ones. Actually, when he qualified for his very first one in Singapore and Sao Paulo, he had to beat Maru in the qualifiers both times in the round of 8, and did so. So that's the only time they've actually played in a best of 3. Everything else has always been Pro League. So they've always played, it's been 1-0 to Maru sometimes to herO. So they're fairly even when it comes to team leagues. But when it comes to best of 3, Maru's not beaten him.
No, and I don't think he will again today either, to be honest. These two players are... when these match up, when Pro League, when you see, it's herO versus Maru, you go crazy about it. And you do just get teased by a single game, a single map. But now it's a best of 5. And it's going to take so much more to win, because usually in Pro League, if they meet up regularly, it's just going to be, okay, I'm going to practice to beat him. This is the one map I'm going to play on. It's going to be very easy. This is my strategy. This is how I'm going to do it. But now there's going to be adaptation. It's a different skill set, which Maru, of course, has done and showed before. But against herO, we haven't. And that's the exciting aspect of it for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've just got to add to that. In best of 5 situations, herO hasn't lost against a Terran since 2013.
Okay, well, all right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of insight of what the boys were thinking. Maru, as we know, is not the most chattiest of players. I asked him a bunch of questions this morning, and every answer was basically, I think I have a 50% chance. I have a 50% chance for everything. How do you feel against playing as herO? I have a 50% chance. Like, who do you want to win? I don't know, I don't care. And at the end, I said, why are you giving me these answers? And he goes, because Terran is weak. And that was it. Right. And I just sat there and I went, okay. So going into this, I mean, I really can't read him. Yeah. I really do believe. But yesterday's interview...
Let me just check a Ligilac here. Oh, look, 50% in form, 50% opposing race, 50% in TVZ, 50% in TvP. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
No, but
it's weird, isn't it?
It is really weird.
I mean, why is he like that, do you think?
Well, and I did point that out. I said, hey, if you win, I would really like for you to speak more during your interview. And he went...
Did you ask or did you tell him?
I told him.
You told him.
I did. To which he said...
Mama Susie's doing a job.
Yeah.
But he goes, I would like to too, I just can't. And I went, why? Talking, he goes, with experience, maybe I will. He's
and
young.
He doesn't...
The weird thing is, Susie, you actually bring up a really valid point. I think sometimes we get kind of lost with the fact that this kid's been around for a long time. He's playing TV matches at the age of 14, which was
13,
nearly,
I think, even.
Yeah, even like 4 or 5 years ago. He's still not even 18. I think we sometimes get lost in the fact that he's still a young guy.
So he is learning. He understands that his interview skills are not quite up to par with his other players here, but he did say yesterday in his interview, though.
And a very warm welcome back to Taipei City, where we're holding the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, our last stop on our Season 9 tour, as we head towards the World Championship in just 6 weeks' time. 2 spots up for grabs this weekend. We'll find out tomorrow who those 2 spots go to, as well as crowning our very last champion of the season. Our next matchup in the round of 8, though, is an absolute nail-biter. I can guarantee it's going to be an absolute cracker. I know Todd likes that one. So let's check in with the bracket and show you exactly how things have panned out so far today. We've done the top half, Parting winning 3-0 against Classic early on, and Life, predictably perhaps, winning 3-1 against Hyun to set up that clash of charisma in the semi-finals. Lower half of the bracket now. CJ enters herO, going up against Maru, and Solkey going up against Rain. It's herO versus Maru next, and back on the desk we have Susie, Kalaris and Todd joining me. This one
I'm not Todd.
No, I didn't think so.
Apollo. Did I say Todd?
You did.
Yeah, you did.
Say Todd.
Did I? I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to insult
I don't
you
know
like
if
that.
that's a compliment or not.
No, there's a specific
I
reason.
don't think it is.
Todd's like, what up, buddy?
Todd's like, yes, it is. And I'm like, well...
Don't think so, man.
It's because I'm so used to saying Todd after Kalaris. I think that's what it is.
Oh, maybe.
You're like an Archon almost.
Well, nah. I don't want to share a body
Todd's
with
saying,
that.
no. We'll stick to the ESL Archon, of course, which we have on the desk. Serious stuff now. Moving on. Maru versus herO. I'm personally, it's the most exciting game for me of the day, mainly because there's Terran involved, because we're the last one alive, but also because we haven't seen Maru at these events before. We've seen him play everywhere else, but not the Intel Extreme Masters. And herO, of course, I've done it today. I almost sound like a fanboy.